Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fantastical day. I was going to say fantastic and I was going to say fun, so it's a fantastical day. Today I get to share with you a Gerda Steiner Designs project using this on the table stamp set. It is so cute and very versatile too. I also wanted to share with you the little stamp set here is called Happy Mail Bunny, and this right now at the Gerda Steiner shop is a freebie with any purchase. So I encourage you to check that out now until the end of the month, and while supplies last, whenever you place an order at the Gerda Steiner Design shop, this is yours for free. So and free is always good, so I thought I would share that with you. So we're going to make a project starting off. We're going to make a project with both of the stamp sets, but we're going to use the on the table first. The great thing about this stamp set is the versatility of it. There's a little Santa hat in it. There's a party hat. There's a present. And then there's also the elements that we're going to be stamping today, along with a doggy, which is super cute. I stamped a little kitty cat with my Memento ink. I'm going to stamp both the cupcakes. One's a whole cupcake, and this one here is has a bite mark in it with crumbles on the side. So it's super, super neat. There's also a little glass in the cupcake, in the stamp set. We're going to use this as if it's milk. There's a little plate of cookies in the stamp set too, so the little milk cup would go perfect with that. There's also this vase, and I have a brand new Memento ink pad, and so I got heavy-handed and I transferred too much ink, so I'm going to go ahead and restamp that. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit, play a little music for you while I color, and when I'm done coloring, I will get you back. Okay, coloring is done. Now, I think the colors that I used for the vase just weren't working out. So I completely skipped that part. And I ended up off screen coloring in the vase. The same colors as I started to color it with, but then I just changed the flower color to some pinks. the purples just didn't go right for me. So I fussy cut each of my elements out here. I made my little cat a little tabby. Got our little pink flowers in a vase, and then our little chocolate cupcakes here. Now we're going to set these aside and we're going to work on our background panel. I'm taking a stitched rectangle die that will cut out a panel that's 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then I'm going to use a double stitch circle die and cut out a window in my panel. And then I also have a thought bubble I'm going to die cut out with white cardstock. So once these elements are cut out, I'm taking a piece of Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock. Well, I just didn't do that just yet, but I will, I promise. I'm taking a wood grain stamp. This one I believe I picked up at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. It's from Stampabilities. I use this quite often. Any kind of wood grain stamp that you have would work. I'm using an MFT ink called Biscotti. I'm going to stamp that image on some white cardstock, and then using my scissors, I'm going to create a dome shape on the very top. I kind of have a point, so I'm going to end up retrimming it so it's a little bit smoother. If you have a hillside border die, you could do the same thing with that. But I wanted, this is going to be my table inside the window. So I'm kind of just positioning it how I think it will look the best. I didn't want the wood grain going vertical or horizontal. I wanted it to kind of be diagonal. So once I found my placement, I'm going to take my scissors and trim off the excess. I think it's going to be a lot easier if I kind of position it with my little kitty on the table. That way I know where to position this little piece. I think this is going to look great. So I'll trim off the excess. I'm going to flip it around, and then I'm going to use my tape runner. We're going to go ahead and adhere that to our window. I'm going to trim off that little extra piece on the bottom. Okay, now here is where I'm going to flip this over, add some foam tape behind it, and this panel is going to be popped up. Okay, now is when I'm going to take my Bristol Smooth paper, and I'm going to do a little blending with some oxide ink. This is tumbled glass, and I'm just doing a very light shading with the tumbled glass. I wanted a little bit of color behind my window, so I just went really lightly. I added some water droplets to activate that ink and give it a little bit of texture, and then I'm going to dab off all the excess with a towel, and it's still a little wet, so I'm gonna shake it dry. I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this to my card base. I'm gonna adhere it to a standard note card base, and I wanted a little bit more white up on top, so I lowered it just a little bit, and then we're gonna remove the release paper off of our foam tape and then add our window. This card is pretty much a clean and simple card, but I thought the elements just made it look too cute. Okay, once our window panels adhered, now we're going to arrange our little scene. I know I wanted to tuck the vase to where the flowers are sticking out, but the vase is sticking underneath my little window. I had already put a piece of foam tape behind it, so that's stuck down. Next, we're going to add some foam tape behind our little kitty and add him to our little window. And then we're going to add the full-size cupcake at the very bottom of the window. And then I thought it would be so cute to put the eaten cupcake and then the milk inside the thought bubble. So the front of our card is not going to have any sentiment, but I think it says a lot with that thought bubble. So we're going to add some foam tape behind here and add that right above our kitty. Okay, going to readjust our little cupcake. Now, before we go add any bells or whistles, I wanted to stamp the sentiment on the inside. I chose Have a Sweet Day. There's two sentiments in the stamp set. Have a Sweet Day and then Happy Birthday. Okay, now we have a few little kitties in our house, and oftentimes they jump on a table and they slide off. It's kind of really funny to see that happening. So I wanted to create some scratch marks on my table to kind of emulate that effect, like they're reaching for that cupcake but just didn't quite make it. I thought that would be super fun. And I just used a black marker to draw squiggly lines to that cupcake. For the centers of my flowers, I did add Nouveau Jewel Drops and rose water. And then I just added 3 dots to the center of those flowers in the vase. I'm going to add some white sprinkles to both of my cupcakes with my white gel pen, and then we're going to add a little sparkle with some Nouveau glitter drops. This is White Blizzard. And then that finishes off my first card. I think it's a super fun card. Great for any occasion. Okay, now we're going to work on our little Happy Mail bunny card. I think this one is just super cute. There's only a few elements in there. You got the cute little bunny, you have a little envelope with a heart on it, and then you have a little pencil or a pen, and then the sentiment says Happy Mail. But for being a little stamp set, it sure packs a lot of punch. So I'm going to stamp the bunny and the pencil, and then I'm going to take the little letter that's in the small stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it on some pattern papers. Now I picked a kind of a rainbow of colors, greens and oranges and pinks, yellow and blue. I chose the same paper pad, and I'll list it down below, but all the patterns on the papers are the exact same. I'm going to kind of make them a little bit different by tilting my envelope. Some are going to be straight up and down, and then some are going to be at a diagonal. The paper has white stripes on it. So once we have our envelope stamped, 2 on each color, I'm just going to fussy cut them out. Now I'm going to fussy cut out to the line all of my little envelopes. Once we have this done, I already colored in my bunny and my little pencil to save a little bit of time, but there he is. And then I also cut out a smaller panel for my card base. I'm using a red Copic marker, and I'm going to fill in the little hearts on my little envelopes. We're going to make them cute little red hearts. Okay, after we have this done, I'm going to bring in a die from my stash. Now this die it's called the Rectangle Word Window Frame. And what it does is cuts out a small rectangle frame. And then I'm going to use the frame portion and the inside piece. I wanted to add a little bit of color, since for this card my background's just going to be white. It's going to be that white panel. I'm going to do a little shading with my gray markers. I'm using a C1 and then a C3 to do a little shading. Now I'm going to stamp the sentiment on the inside piece. This is Happy Mail. Lovely. Okay, now we're going to take our panel. I'm going to go ahead and add some glue behind my little frame here. I thought this frame would create like a perfect mailbox, you know, the kind that are kind of on doors. I think my very first apartment had a mailbox on the door. I kind of like that. Now it's our mailboxes. We have a very, very long drive, so it's a little bit of a walk getting our mail now. Our mailman actually drives up our drive and honks their horn to deliver our mail. So I miss those little door mailboxes. But anyway, I adhered my little Happy Mail. I did pop it up with some foam tape. Now I went ahead and added my little bunny. I'm going to put the little pencil in his hand. It's like the perfect size. Okay, now I'm going to flip over all of my envelopes. We're going to add some foam squares behind them. And then we're just going to add a couple underneath our little mailbox. And then I want them to be trailing all the way down next to the bunny. This little guy has lots of Happy Mail. And I'm just making sure I don't get the same colors together. I'm actually looking for the pink one. And then I'll just layer the rest of them all the way down there. So I think it's a bright and cheery card, but pretty simple, really. I'm going to add some foam tape behind this panel, and then this is going to go on another standard A2 size card base. And then for finishing touches for here, we're going to add some glitter with the Nouveau glitter drops. Again, this is the White Blizzard. And then that finishes off project number 2. So I encourage you to check out the Gerda Steiner shop. And if you're in the United States, Gerda Steiner shop ships for free, which is lovely because I know shipping can be expensive. But these are my 2 projects today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. I wish you a fantastic day, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.